The project manager's playbook is being rewritten by artificial intelligence. Automation is no longer just about tasks, it's about thinking. In CXO's dialogue with Padmini Rājan, decode how is reshaping leadership, AI is reshaping leadership, culture, and accountability. Who leads when algorithms decide? Where does empathy fit in when precision takes over? AI won't replace managers, but managers who use AI will be replaced by who don't. We have the honor of having Padmini Rājan, LinkedIn community top voice, CXO board member, cybersecurity warrior, joining us today to discuss the topic. Let's welcome our esteemed speaker to the podcast and dive into the topic. Hi Padmini, welcome to our podcast. How are you today?
Hi, Prem. I'm doing well. Thank you. And good evening to you, your team, and everybody on this podcast. It is a privilege to be invited by you, and I'm honored to be part of your ongoing podcast, number 307, right? 308.
307 completed, 308 today.
Yes, that is definitely a very good achievement that you have been keeping up, Prem. And I'm happy to be featured along with all those starwards before me. Maybe there'll be plenty of really good leaders coming after me. So happy to be in that elite club. Thank you for inviting me here.
Welcome, Padmini. Padmini, a small intro about yourself, your journey in your career to the audience.
Definitely, Prem. So basically, it's like tell me about yourself question, right? By HR managers during interviews. So it's been some time since I interviewed, but yes, I can take it. Probably a very short pitch, right? So started off as a COBOL programmer. So my first program was 3,000 lines of code with the environment division and those things, right? Then I jumped over to C programming. So that was like the beginning. So being a biology graduate and transitioning into a computer science field was like a very big step for me. But then I felt this was my calling at that time, right? So something very new, very innovative coming up in the market. And I've always been a runner for all these kinds of new things, right? So technology excites me. And that's where my career began about 30 years ago. And after that, it's been like one role after the other. So it has never been linear. I have tried to like grow horizontally, vertically. Like it's always about exploring new roles. What can I do next, right? So how can I improve myself? How can I upskill, learn new things, and pivot? So every role that I took over, whether it was from layoffs or whether from voluntary resignations, yes, I have been laid off myself. I know the the harsh reality of the IT world,
Yeah.
but then it's all about reinventing yourself, right? And every time you pivot, you need to unlearn things, you need to relearn, you need to learn new things as well, right? So that has been a journey of transformation, of learning all through. So over a period of these years, yes, the designations do matter to some extent, but then it has always been about breaking that new barrier, right? So how can I get into the new field? So this year itself, it was very transformative. I took over two new roles. Like I stepped into the cybersecurity field, which I was yearning to do for a couple of years now. Every time it was like I was chasing it, and now finally it's chasing me. And then definitely a new geography when I was offered the role of VP of project management for Southeast Asia. And having worked in India, Europe, US, and now getting a chance to work with the Southeast Asian region, it's been broad geographies, broad skill sets, broad kinds of roles and designations that have made me what I am. So yes, Prem, that's a thing in a nutshell.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Padmini. Now, we were talking about can AI really manage projects? That's where we are talking about. Or just managers think of differently. So now coming to that topic, has the AI changed with what means to lead a project?
Definitely, Prem. I think things are extremely dynamic whether we were 30 years back, 50 years back, 100 years back, humans are extremely creative, right? So we are never satisfied with what we have achieved. We are always looking for new things to achieve. So project management is a part of everything that we do. Building a house is a project, having children and family is a project, right? Working on our careers is a lifelong project. Retirement is a project, right?
True.
Any
Yeah.
financial investment is a project. So almost every aspect of our life is either a small or a middle size or a big project, right? So we are all project managers in that sense. It's nothing saying that project manager is only in the professional field. We are project managers at home too. I mean, cooking the next meal is a project in itself, right?
True.
Do you have the
Yeah.
right component? Do you have the recipe? Do you have all that technology that's required? The electric stove, the fridge, the mixie, right? Etc. So these are like daily examples. So I think yes, project management has been reinventing itself over every 10 years. We see a change in the way we approach projects, right? And we need to,
Yeah.
because if the industry needs to survive in an ever-changing VUCA world, like they say, right? We will need to change the kind of approaches that we have, the kind of sets that we have to lead projects, and definitely the technologies that back us up to make better humans, right? Better managers, better leaders. So yes, definitely there's a constant and continuous project management.
No, right. What you are saying is so true that everything that we do needs to be managed like a project itself today, in today's world at least, especially with so many changes, so many constraints coming in. When do algorithms lead better than humans?
Okay, so I think this is nothing new for us. We humans have been automating things for a long time now, right? I mean, we machines which could do a work as soon as it got repetitive, right? So algorithms are nothing but a set of tasks that you tell a machine to do. You invent the machine, you invent the language to talk to the machine, and then you tell the machine what exactly you want, right? So you define the outcomes as well. So algorithms are man-made, machines are man-made, and definitely all projects are also steered by people. Right? I think yes, we need to like constantly evolve our algorithms also based on our basic needs, based on the requirements of the business, based on the requirements of the landscape that we operate in. Right? So what was possibly successful in 1900s no longer applies, and
True.
what is possible today will not apply in 5 years time, given that we are bombarded with gen ai and agentic ai right now. Those are the new buzzwords in everyday language, right? I think everything that we do, whether it is leading, managing, administering, planning, strategizing, everything will need to go through algorithms, and algorithms definitely will need to keep in pace with whatever technology can augment us with, which is like Gen AI and agentic AI. Yeah.
How do you measure emotional intelligence in automation or automated teams?
Okay. So automation is extremely key to
Yeah.
doing anything. Like I said, right? So we have automated dishwashing. We have robots to clean our houses now. So
Right.
we need to get rid of the maids, right? We have washing machines. So we are like not even doing that anymore, right? Manually. Similarly, in projects, right? So we are automating almost anything and everything which can follow a defined set of
Yeah.
steps or processes that can be documented very well, right? So anything beyond that will still require a human. So I would say definitely AI won't replace humans. AI will definitely automate humans and augment our capabilities, right? But then we also need to remember, based on all these studies that we see, right? So, for example, if we see what the LinkedIn founder said, right, Reid Hoffman. So he was saying 9 to 5 jobs will be extinct by 2034.
Hmm.
That's very close, right? So even Anthropic CEO, for example, right, Dario Amodei, the other day he was saying AI will wipe out half of all entry level white collar jobs.
Right.
So we are standing at the cusp of a revolution given the technology, but then according to what we need to apply AI, right? That also is extremely important. So if I could quote, like, say, Bill Gates, right, for example.
Hmm.
So he said the first rule of automation, any tech, right, which is linked to biz automation, is to make sure that that automation is applied to an efficient process, right? Then it will
Yeah,
magnify the efficiency. The
true.
second rule, of course, is you put it to an inefficient operation, you will get only inefficiency, right? So it's not about the technology alone, but the usage of the technology also, which will steer how we will be, like, managing projects, right? Managing businesses, managing the entire landscape of all this environment around us, right?
No, I think what you are saying is those. I have said this in multiple podcasts. See, what happened was we started looking at automation in the manufacturing sectors first. If you really look at, and we started innovating so much that today most of the large scale manufacturings are automated, and you don't see people doing the regular bar bending stuff or the hard work stuff done, right? Even the arc welding, which used to be a pain in for people who used to do that because of their eyes getting damaged and all those things, today it is not like that. A car goes into the assembly line, it gets fixed and comes out. So that's the stage that we have
Correct.
automated. Now what I felt, or my view is, it's always that we try to automate the entire world, and now it is the turn to automate the IT itself, which is more of work that we've been doing manually. We've done most of the automation, but what we are seeing is where these mundane jobs which we automated for tablet industry or the manufacturing industry, to be very specific, those things will come for the jobs of the repeated task pieces that will go off, and that's where the automation projects will move on. Is what is AI redefining how strategy gets executed?
Definitely. I mean, AI touches almost all aspects of our lives, whether it's professional or
Hmm.
personal. Like I said, if there is AI in your lift, AI in your washing machine, why can't AI be in strategy? Why can't
Yeah.
AI be in the minds of the leaders who are defining business outcomes, right? So AI is everywhere. I mean, and I think there is nothing wrong with that. AI will definitely have a lot of benefits. We are already seeing that a number of our PMs are already using AI, right? At least 43%, from what I know, are already using these AI tools, right? And outside also, like, all of us are used to ChatGPT now. We use Anthropic Cloud for our research. We use Perplexity for deep research, right? We are going over to Google Gemini, Vertex AI, and
Mhm.
definitely in industry we see IBM Watson. We see
Yeah.
Salesforce using their Einstein, and SAP using a new technology. Workday, ClickUp, and even Zoom, all of them have brought in their AI tools, right?
Yeah.
So AI is percolating everywhere, and it's a great thing. Of course, there are several jobs which will lose of AI adoption, but that is like a regular thing. I mean, when we had Word coming in, we lost the typewriter. When we had the calculator coming in, we lost the abacus, right? But
Yeah.
that didn't stop humans from reinventing themselves. So people, like, just launched into new roles. We found usages for the human brain. So we will do similarly for AI also. So I think it's not a threat. It's going to be our companion every day.
No, I agree. Now, again, the same pointer that I would say, when we started banking, also, we used to go to the teller machine and stand for taking a token and collecting money, right? I remember
Correct.
when my dad used to work in an school, he was an accountant. So I used to go when the salary they used to give me one token, and the token number is to go to the
Yeah.
teller, then you can collect the cash. Now today nobody goes to the ATMs unless there is a real
Correct.
required for money, hard currency required. Otherwise, your Google Pay, Phone Pay, things will work for you and you get it done, right? So, but do we think the financial industry or the banking is down? No, banking is flourished much more, right? So, and you see a lot of things
Correct.
happening in the banking industry. Now, are the project plans becoming predictive, not prescriptive?
Project plans can be predictive. Yes, to a large extent, it's helping us project managers. For example, I recently entire Jira workflow automation, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So this way, I was able to like get the entire team to focus creative aspects of how to lead the project better, how to get better outcomes, than to worry about coming at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning and sitting with reports which are like pending from the previous week, right? These can be easily automated, right? So there is a number of processes that were holding us back because of manual repetitive work. We were able to automate it, and I think we achieved at least 40 to 45% of efficiency, which means like it freed up
Hmm.
at least 6 to 700 hours of work from my team, so that they were able to like look into other things, right? So not only was it able to like solve problems from the past, but it could also help us predict roadblocks that can come in our project plans. So it can be predictive to a large extent. I think we saw similar results when I was leading the cybersecurity operations, where we were doing reactive incidents response. Right. So we were looking at breaches which happened in the past, and then we were saying, oh, because this happened here, there
Hmm.
was a firewall breach, or this was not discovered. We can expect a similar result, but this was only tip of the iceberg. Very heavy predictive analytics software, similar to what Salesforce offers and SAP offers. We were able to see so many gaps that humans could never have found out, because we humans are
Hmm.
extremely good at small data sets, but AI can go into multiple large data sets, and it can look at patterns which emerge. But AI cannot decide the outcomes. AI just gives you the results. You as a human will have to sit and stitch the pieces together to find out, okay, if this is the case, if this is the what the data is telling me, this is what is likely to happen.
Hmm.
So given any industry, I think the predictive analytics part will be available with AI to a very, very beautiful extent. But the prescriptive part, I think, should still remain with humans. We are the critical decision makers of the system. We will never outsource this to an AI, and AI, for sure, irrespective of how good it becomes, will never be able to replace a human in terms of critical decision making or leadership outcomes, or even cross border functional alignment, right? Or even spotting patterns between people. I mean, AI wouldn't know the politics, right?
Yeah.
AI will not judge what's the dynamics between a team and his manager, or what's the dynamic between the stakeholder and CEO. It can just give you data points. It can tell you things which are predictive, but
Hmm.
if the decision has to be taken, if the judgment has to be done, if the critical thinking has to be put into place, we need humans still for that.
True. I think what you're saying in as many words is that it is not that we can have plan being predictive. It gives you more concise information that this is where we stand, rather than running into reports and running those stat meets, is what I see what you're saying with AI coming in. How do leaders
Right.
balance the intuition with data driven directions?
Okay. So basically, intuition is an extremely human trait.
Hmm.
Whatever kind of artificial intelligence we humans can create, it will never be replacing the human element of intuition, or even reading a room, for example, right? Reading the moods of people, and definitely conflict resolution and things like that, right? So AI can
Hmm.
set up meetings for you. AI can manage calendars for you. AI can give you notes before and after a meeting. But AI can never tell you how to actually approach your boss or your colleague or your stakeholders, if you are in the board level, right? So we will still need to be maintaining that intuition with us. We can sense stuff which AI as a machine cannot. It's a very cold, calculative 0110 sort of machine, right? Which we have created. How can we
Yeah.
even expect it to be as good as us, right? So AI can definitely lead tasks, but it cannot build trust. And I would say all of our strategy, it evolves when the prediction meets the purpose behind our decisions, right? So
Yeah.
there's something like intuition or empathy, which are core human values, which will never be replaced by a machine created on Earth or created in Mars.
Can AI and people truly collaborate, or it's just coexistence?
We are already doing that. I think we are 10 years into the picture already, right?
Yeah.
Prem? So, I mean, even the Gartner PMO 2025 report recently, they were quoting that 72% of PMs say that AI is already defining rules.
Hmm.
We already have 28% of our PMs
Yeah.
using AI, right? And then we have seen 70 to 80% faster cycle times.
Hmm.
We have also seen up to 90% of labor cost reduction in several roles at the front line, which can be
Hmm.
easily automated, right? So we have been using AI in and out. It's just that Gen AI and agentic AI is the next step in the evolution of technology
Hmm.
towards making humans more capable in what we can do best, so that AI can do the rest.
Okay. Now, with that, what emotional competencies must leaders retain in the digital teams? Because now everything is digital. Everything is talking about making things shorter, right? And AI is giving you hints what to make shorter and how to look at it. So your take on it, Padmini.
Correct. So I think we definitely need to make sure that humans are always involved in any process that is automated or anything that uses AI.
Human in
I
loop.
mean, we do have this mandate from the top, right, from our CXOs and the boards that please use more AI and less humans. I mean,
Mm.
it doesn't work very
Work.
well at the floor level or even at the middle management level, right? So we
Mm.
have about like 3% of CXOs saying that please use AI, but then make sure that it augments and not replace humans, right? But then we need to mandate human in the loop always. We need to have human in the loop protocols. We need to ensure that is humans who are triggering the process, who are managing the process of AI, and who are also making sure that the outcomes that we need delivered from these processes, right, they are in line with what we actually want to achieve, right? So basically, it needs to be left with humans to be at the beginning, at the end, and definitely in the middle also. And this is a constant evolution. I mean, we have all these RAG models and the llamas of the world, right, which have come up. But then these get obsolete after some time. They will work only for one or two processes. What about the 100 other processes which need to be automated or which need to give us better outcomes? We will need to constantly keep refining existing protocols. We also need to constantly start writing new prompts, new contexts to make sure that the AI keeps in pace, right? So I think that that kind of the judgment, right, critical thinking, the judgment, the conflict resolution, the reading of the room, like I said before, right, the pulse of people, right, all these kinds of things, AI can definitely not replace. It needs to be taught, but still there needs to be human in the loop at every stage of the process.
Now, we were talking about trust, right? And how logic is built when we talk about AI and stuff. Now, can empathy be trained into a machine logic?
Okay. I wouldn't say it's impossible. It is to a certain extent. We can tell the machines how to behave and
Yeah.
with whom to behave what. But I think the core empathy, the core understanding, the core sympathetic, collaborative approach that we humans have, I don't think AI could replace that completely. So there are empathetic AI models which are coming up. There have been a lot of like sentiment analysis tools which have been launched,
Hmm.
which, for example, are able to read into a stakeholder meeting and see who said what and what may be their sentiments behind. Right? They try to read the minds of
Fine,
people.
sir.
But definitely it will hallucinate to a large extent. And if we base our decisions based on hallucination outcomes of AI protocols, which are still being developed, which are not foolproof, I think we will be the fools. All right. So we will need to still maintain a certain level of integrity with us and a certain level of like critical judgment on what AI delivers. I think in the previous stint that I was leading in legal tech, we have something called two eyes and four eyes. The document review, which has been automated, which replaces a junior lawyer doing reviews for legal contracts, right? That was automated
Mm,
using Gen AI or even AI, ML, and NLP, right? But we still wanted humans to review what the results were coming out,
mm,
right, and make sure that the validated, verified, and they were definitely authorized to be
got it.
accurate, true, before going over to the leaders, right, and to the dashboards. So I think there is never a point where we can completely trust an AI to be 100% replacing a human, except when it is completely automated, very clearly defined, and processes are like documented to the T.
Mm.
Unless that is the scenario, everything else should be subject to human review.
Review. No, I think that's what we are seeing because intelligence is shared, right? And empathy
Yes,
cannot be
it
shared; it can be
needs to
earned.
be earned.
Yeah, right. Now, if AI systems
Yes,
decide project priorities, right, and
I
who
think
ensures that?
Prem. Okay, so we had the chief information security officers recently. We have the chief information officers, the CIOs and the CISOs. But I think you will soon have the chief AI officers, the chief empathy
Yeah,
officers,
yes.
right? So I think the CEO will be replaced
Yeah.
by not the chief executive officer, but the chief empathy officer, right? Because when you work with people, people have a different, they come with different issues, challenges, right? There
Mm.
could also be areas where people need to be appreciated, recognized. They need to be like called out for their achievements, right? All that recognition, rewards, AI cannot do that. I mean, you can train
Yeah.
an AI to say, hey, hello, you have done a great job, but does it feel the same as coming from a human? Never,
No.
right? It could probably send you a $500 Amazon voucher saying that you have done a great job this quarter. But is it the same as meeting your manager over a coffee break and he or she shaking hands with you
Yeah.
and giving you that genuine appreciative look in their eyes, right? And that warmth of those handshakes, right?
Mm.
And telling you from the bottom of their heart how much they value your expertise or your achievement, right? That definitely cannot come from AI.
Yeah, I know. I get that. So, what I was about to ask you was, if AI systems decides project priorities, right? Who ensures that data has that integrity set, right? So that's the point that I
Okay.
wanted to look at, right?
Okay. So basically, there needs to be a governance at all levels.
Mm.
We have that already as part of the risk governance, right? NIST and standards also talk about risk management frameworks. So we need
Mm.
these frameworks at all levels to make sure that there is a strict governance of anything that goes into AI and comes out of AI systems, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it will be the responsibility of not only the project manager at their project levels, but also at the next successive levels up the ladder also, to make sure that there's governance at all levels, right?
yeah,
So AI can ensure compliance, but governance will still be a human issue, right? So a human needs to sit at the end of the ladder in order to make sure that whatever is being spewed out, right? I would use that word because a lot of hallucinations are happening and we are like going crazy trying to rectify problems which probably shouldn't have happened in the first place, right? So we will need governance at all levels.
mm,
So I think we need the governance committee, the governance members, the governance leaders, managers to be put in place, even though there is AI at every step of the way.
okay. Now, we've seen the traditional project management way where we seen always a scope creep coming in, right? So, and that is always a problem where the stakeholders have not collected the, or we have not collected the data from the stakeholders. Now, how does the bias creep into predictive tools in project management? Your take on it.
Okay. Okay. Sure. So there's uh, bias everywhere. I think, Prem, we are biased creatures. We are training AIs, AI biased, right? There is never a perfect human
Hmm.
who is completely detached, who is completely neutral. So if they were,
Yeah.
everyone would be a Lord Buddha. So we don't have such perfection in humans. So we can't expect perfection in systems that are built by humans. All right. So bias does creep in at all levels. There is not only the bias where, for example, younger people were chucked out of hiring practices because the ATS was trained to take only middle level people, right? There was also this case study where Harvard, for example, the system, the ATS system that they employed, had eliminated all the women graduates who had applied for Harvard medical course just because the gender was female, right? So there's a lot
Okay.
of, like, not only ageism bias, gender bias, but there can also be a lot of other kinds of hallucinations creeping in because of the data sets that have been fed into the algorithms, right? So we need to ensure that the kind of data that goes in is very well filtered. It's also very objective, not subjective. It carries no bias. So it's like a garbage in, garbage out principle, right? So you push something into the algorithms will act accordingly, right? And we have seen the negative side effects of this, for example, in several cases, like I mentioned, right? So it's not only in hiring and the other practices, right? But like, for example, we women leaders, we face it all the time. I mean, we have these communities talking about women in AI, and women need to be where decisions are made, and women need to be in these AI committees, because the men definitely wouldn't see that as a hindrance in their career growth or progression. But the women have faced the gender bias because of these algorithms which are put in practice in the professional field, right? And it really annoys and irritates us, right? I mean, for no fault of us, if we are disqualified just because the AI algorithm behind the scene took it as a gender bias, right? So this is definitely something that needs to be removed. I think it's the same with senior professionals entering the system. I just pinged last week in my LinkedIn post, right? Like how women over 50 are discriminated against because the AI systems in place, which are either for hiring or promotions or even for sponsorships or even VC funding, for example, right? They actively discriminate women in the workforce, right? So AI has not been built or filtered to remove these kinds of biases, right? So I think that's something which is actively going on, and we should continue working towards making it fair and unbiased.
Okay. Now, how should cybersecurity become a part of PM leadership training? Because now what we are seeing is we don't have anything that is left over, because every tech
Yes.
is on the cloud and every tech needs to be protected. So you need cyberspace, and every project that is being delivered on the tech side needs to be properly managed and led. So how do you think cybersecurity should be made of part of the PM training part?
Okay. So cybersecurity until about last year was a new skill to be learned.
Hmm.
So it was like something which needed to be explored, and which a couple of people were specializing in. But this year, given the number of breaches
Which is, yeah.
all over the world, I mean, we ourselves have been like victims of breaches, right? So a lot of us don't realize that our email addresses, phone numbers, residential addresses, social security or Aadhaar numbers, PAN numbers are all out there.
Yeah.
It's available on the dark web for free.
Hmm.
Several of these data points are also available for a fee. And the state driven actors or even any kind of malicious actors can easily duplicate your entity
Hmm.
and make a fraud case, right? They can cheat either of thousands, lakhs, millions, crores, right? So sometimes it's not just about money alone, it could be about credibility. So we have seen CXO emails going out to lower level employees saying, I'm in trouble, I'm stuck on
Hmm.
this island, or I am at the airport and I need funds. And there are cases where large company CEOs have been used for this kind of spamming, right? And their employees ended up paying crores. They did deposit to these malicious actors accounts, and then they found out that they had been cheated, right? So cybersecurity is no longer an option. When I stepped into this field, I found how deeply it is already ingrained into our fields. Everybody is digitally available as an avatar on the web, so
Hmm.
everybody is going to be breached at one time or the other. So it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
When? Yeah.
And if we are not careful with our digital identities, if we don't safeguard our own identity and information, right? Whatever we are putting out there, it could be easily is misused, abused by cheats and by these fraud elements. And definitely, all of us will be facing cybersecurity as an issue. So, on the professional side, it's even more dangerous. I
Yeah.
mean, how many of us have been big basket customers? Our data is out there. Aadhaar itself was like, and a lot of other numbers were leaked.
Hmm.
A lot of banks have been breached, of hospitals have been breached. So all our medical information is will easily pawn these details and charge premium, knowing that we are going to die of a heart attack in 10 years' time. Right? So these are like real use cases. So organizations to definitely make cybersecurity a mandate. It's not an option. It's not a nice to have. It's have. And there are already
Must.
all these frameworks, including the DPDP Act, which the Indian
Yeah.
government put into place just a few weeks back, with like addition to GDPR or the ESO framework or the NIST frameworks, make sure that organizations protect their customers' data, and people also have a recourse in case they are breached or in case they need to be aware, right? So there is awareness training, phishing is happening. So this needs to be like explicitly a mandate at every step. Every employee is the weak link, and their carelessness or negligence or even ignorance, many of them are innocent, they leave their laptops on, and they could have, like a very recent example is the Louvre in Paris being breached, right? The entire museum
Oh.
was hacked, right? And the attackers just took about 30 minutes to spawn off like about $1 million worth of precious artifacts from the most
Yeah.
famous museum
Yeah.
in the world, which houses the Mona Lisa. And the reason
Hmm.
behind that was the Louvre's IT systems password was Louvre. How
Okay.
easy is it to breach, right? Difficult could it have been if the IT systems had been upgraded to a really strong password and multi-factor authorization was put in
Nothing.
place, and a lot more risk management frameworks, including zero trust
Right.
security policies were put in place, right? This is a very good example of how things can happen.
Yeah. So what you are saying is, whether you are a project manager or not, today the data security is the prime factor that has to be taken care. And the second
Definitely.
pointer with DPDP coming in, your data is given back to you to protect first, then give it to anybody you want. So the digital assets will be
Correct.
your responsibility as a user, and protecting them with secure passwords, MFAs, and zero trust mechanisms will be becoming more significant. And data breach can be avoided with strong passwords and multi-factor authentication is what we are saying. And that also needs more of awareness in terms of training and some kind of
Yes, Supriya.
education that is needed.
Yes,
Now we
definitely. Organizations need to train their project managers on not only cybersecurity, they need to train all the members, project managers. I mean, like I said, an ignorant employee is also an entry point for a fraud
yeah,
actor to hack the entire organization's data.
right. Now, and one point to the viewers is that cyber security, if you are thinking it is only with the security team or the ISMS team or the SOC team or anything, no, it is the whole organization's responsibility to look at cyber security as a prime factor. And without that, it anybody is a weak point for the chain, the organization to be breached. So with that, now we are talking about productivity when we talk about project management, right? When we used to see what is the productivity of the project, what is the revenue that we have consumed, or costs that we have consumed, what is that we are seeing as productivity coming up. Now what's productivity when machines can work 24 bar 7?
Okay. So the entire metrics, KPIs, OKRs are undergoing a change as we speak,
Mm,
actually, Prem. So earlier managers, we used to measure in terms of deadlines, right?
mm,
How the progress of the happened. Are we close to the deadline? Are we able to like do it within the budget assigned? Are we able to do it with the kind of technologies and tools that we have been given? These
mm,
metrics are no longer enough. So we'll need to relook the entire system given that AI can do a lot of this stuff. So if AI
mm,
can give us interactive real-time dashboards, like it's like the network operation centers, right? So where we are looking at trends. So
mm,
AI can give us dashboards like that at any given time. A project manager or even any member of a project team can see where the project is, at what stage it is, right? How much of completion has been done, what are the roadblocks which are like lying ahead, or what are the kind of strategic pivots that we need to do in order to reach the outcomes that we have committed to. All right, so the entire KPI metrics need to be changed, and they are not only changing at the project manager level. We are no longer looking at people's 9 to 5 hours.
mm.
We are rather looking at whether they were able to achieve things efficiently.
Efficient.
So what is the efficiency quotient? We are no longer looking at just productivity. Were they able to like say 100 tickets in 10 minutes, or were they able to do the first ticket within the first 10 minutes? No, the FCRs and the incident response times and all these are all like old metrics, right? Including the project completion status and all. We are looking at how well did they deliver their work, how efficient were they able to identify more roadblocks than before, were they
Mm,
able to predict more issues which could cause delay in the project, right? So for example, these are the kinds of metrics at the project manager level. At the next level also it is being redefined, like we see at our CXO levels and board levels, right? The stakeholders are no longer talking to us about, did you finish this project in 5 years time within this $5 million budget? No, they are looking at, did you collaborate better with the stakeholders? Like
stakeholders.
what's the trust quotient that we can have at a board level, right? Can we trust your company to deliver a similar project in probably less time, with less people, and with less budget? So
Projects.
these are the kinds of metrics going on at the top level as well. So they are all relying on AI as a effective tool just to like push out all the repetitive tasks and push the humans to do more, right? And to use their brains more.
Yeah.
So the brawn is being like done by the AI, and the brain is where the measurements are happening, right? So the entire the KPI OKR system is itself undergoing a complete change at all levels. So I think we will have totally different metrics in the next years compared to what we had previous 2 years.
Now, what we've been seeing is the AI workflow side, right? So there is a lot of workflows that are being developed, right? Now, How do leaders measure human creativities in the AI workflows?
Okay. So what we are thinking about is a totally different approach, right? So I would
Mhm.
want to quote a recent talk that I attended where they said that humans used to wash clothes. The
Hmm.
washing machine also washes clothes, but the technology is totally different. The approach is totally different, right? So we never told the washing machine to do the things the way we humans were doing it, by putting soap on that and rubbing it with a brush, for example, right? The entire approach has been redefined, because the outcomes are the same, the goals are the same, but the way you achieve it needs to be more efficient with less cost and definitely less time, right? So similarly, I think we are reapproaching the metrics with the productivity. So even for example, the recent report by the Deloitte Human Capital, right?
Hmm.
They were talking about something called innovation sprints,
Hmm.
where they bring AI and humans together. You have the AI tools. The AI tools tell you something. The humans of the team, the not only the project leads, but every member of the team comes up with their approach as well. So we are bridging creativity with automation and AI technology to be able to see what is it that we can achieve, the same outcomes, less time,
Hmm.
less cost, and definitely in more productive and efficient ways. So I think innovation index is something which is a new metric, and then creativity and collaborative index is another metric, which is like going to be the new metric that Deloitte Human talked about in their trends report recently.
Okay. Now, while we talk all these on the project management side, but because we've been seeing lot of people talking about achievement in numbers, achievement in workflows, achievement in faster turnaround stuff, right? Are we by any chance mistaking activity for an achievement?
Some people would definitely want to say so, but no. Being busy doesn't mean you are being productive, right?
Okay.
And being in your laptop at your laptop doing work doesn't mean that you are efficient, right? So
Mhm.
there's a totally different kind of thinking that is associated, right? So all these myths are definitely going to be shattered. So we do see that AI causes a lot more, like up to 60% higher productivity per person, because it frees them from all these mundane repetitive tasks, right, which they do on a day to day basis, and then they can focus on the more important aspects. So when the noise is cut out of your daily life, daily schedule, right, you are able to focus on things which really need attention, and you're able to
Yeah.
connect the dots better. Right.
Hmm.
So even this was like recently quoted in the Humanitarian Leadership Academy report as well, right? So they saw that AI would was able to demonstrate up to 137% rise in
Hmm.
team collaboration when AI and humans were put together, right?
Okay.
So this is the kind of like human augmentation in terms of capacity, in terms of productivity, in terms of efficiency that we can gain using AI, but properly, of course.
Now, the other point that always keeps me try to understand it, because the CXO teams or the CXOs who you and me with the current roles that we are handling, uh, we see authority there always, right? Now, what we see is, or how do you see CXOs keeping authority while algorithms suggest every move, right? AI is suggesting every move today. Now, what is that we can do there, or what is your take on it?
Okay. So CXOs can definitely use AI to give them all the data points that they need to in order to take decisions, right? So for example, AI can meetings, it can summarize reports like we project managers used to do handwritten notes. If you
Hmm.
remember, started out, right? One of us would always take report meeting notes and then circulate it among the team members,
Yeah,
right? All that
MIM's
is
coming
being
up.
automated now, right? So there is Read AI, and there is a lot of other tools which we have put in place, which can do that for us. It summarizes notes from a meeting. It prepares us even before the meeting. So
Yeah.
not only at the team level, but it can do it at the CXO levels also. So a CXO can get into a meeting with complete trends, predictive analytics, with previous reports, right? With the KPIs that matter, with the history of whatever has happened so far, who said what. All this can be summarized and given to them 5 minutes before a meeting to just take a look. So they
Hmm.
walk into a meeting with the full information available, which would have taken their secretaries days and weeks to collaborate and put together, right? I mean, like if you remember the James Bond movies that we saw, there was this M always
Yeah.
sitting in between the main British M5 office and James Bond, right? He would walk in and he would get the latest updates. And similarly, when he gave her the updates and walked out, she would like update the leadership at MI5, right?
Yeah.
But now all this is being automated with AI. We can't have M's everywhere. We will need to use AI to do all those things, right? So the CXOs are very well informed nowadays. They can take better decisions because they have data from very large sets. They
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what has failed, what has succeeded. They can collaborate across projects, geographies. Many times CXOs that teaches in, say, for example, business English. Now the
Hmm. Hmm.
stakeholders could be, for example, something like a Microsoft or a SAP, right, or Oracle. You think the CEOs will be able to talk in Chinese, Mandarin, Japanese, Indian languages, French, Italian, German, Spanish? No, they
No,
would
no, no.
deliver a speech which automatically gets converted real time by an AI translator tool, so that the stakeholders who are attending from anywhere in the world definitely understand what the CXO is talking about, right? So this is just another example of how CXOs can communicate, like with informed decisions, calculated risk taking, extremely improved communication platforms, and definitely they have a team which can talk about the predictive analytics part and tell them what should they target in the next 2 years or 5 years, right? And show what the company should be steering towards and get that buy-in from their CXO teams as well as the board of directors.
Great. Now, a lot of pointers there because we see leadership is getting more insights to prepare when every suggested move can be looked at, and that suggestions are improving efficiency is what you're saying, right? Right now, coming,
Correct.
should leaders trust AI recommendations blindly?
Definitely not. I mentioned this a couple of times already. There always needs to
Mm.
be a two eyes, four eyes approach. I mean, would
Okay.
you trust your grandma to do the things in the same way that you would do in today's workplace? You wouldn't, right?
Yes.
I mean, you know
Yeah.
that she is great at certain things, but she's not so great at today's things.
Mm.
Similarly, leaders bank upon their expertise, their intuition, their sixth sense, right?
Yeah.
And definitely rely on their council of ministers, their CXO board members, their board of directors, right? So everybody needs their navratnas. AI is
Mm.
just one of the navratnas. It can't be all the navratnas in their board, right? So you will need AI, you will need the AI officer, and you will need the rest of your humans and your automation technologies also. So definitely trusting blindly is hallucinating as well. All right. So this is still an evolving technology and it will continuously evolve. Like I said, there is no one size fits all algorithm, right? In spite of having the best llamas and the best rags of the world, the best langchain technology of the world, you will still need to keep updating the technology. You need to keep updating the humans as well. Like actually, Prem, it's not the technology that is failing us. It's the adoption of the
Adoption.
technology that is failing. Yes. So CXOs are able to like forecast that they want to like invest billions of dollars in AI technologies. Yes, all that is okay.
Hmm.
But are you training your staff?
Yeah.
Like 64% of CXOs mentioned that they have acquired all these AI technology. But if you look at the way it percolates downwards, right? The CXOs, they are like, oh, it's a game changer, and we will be able to like boost productivity and collaboration, and we will save on costs. 80 to 85% of CXOs are super optimistic. You come down to middle level project managers and VPs and directors like us, we are probably 50-55%
Hmm.
aligned to it. If you come to my project leads and even down further to the floor level at say L1, L2, L3s, they are like, it's not going to work, Padmini, because you never trained us on how to use it. I know Chat GPT, but you tell me not to use Chat GPT at office. So you are using IBM Watson or Google Vertex AI. You have not trained us on that. How do you expect us to like achieve the results that your CXO wants? So essentially, it's not the technology that's failing. It's the gap about the skilling up of our entire workforce, which is the reason why all these projects are failing. 90 to 95% projects fail because of that, according to recent research. Prem.
Great, Padmini. With this, I think we are on top of the hour. I have one last question that I want to look at, and with that, we will take the summary of what we have discussed in the last 55 minutes. Now, one last question is: what defines credibility in the age of machine advice?
Okay. Credibility is all about trust.
Hmm.
So if you say somebody is credible, it means that you trust them. You trust them to up to 95%, and you are very, very optimistic that they won't fail.
Okay.
So credibility is extreme and very, very easy to destroy. So it just takes just one small breach for all your millions of customers to leave you and go to your competitor, right? So the
Right.
credibility you have probably built over say 5 generations, like a Birlas or even the Ambanis and the Adanis of the world, right? All that could take a hit with just one security breach, or with one careless action by the board, or one negligent like handling of probably an employee issue at the lowest level, right? I
Hmm.
mean, if a CEO of Uber can be fired because of misconduct with one employee of a company, imagine he had several thousands of employees, right?
Right.
So they can let go of the CEO, the founder of the company, because of a misdemeanor, right? Similarly, a cybersecurity breach can bring down your entire customer base to zero. And not only startups failing because of these kinds of small issues, but the big established giants of the world can also fail if they don't maintain their credibility. So, AI, yes, it's good in a large sense to help you like get productivity on your floor lines, but credibility comes from the top, and it needs to be cultivated at every level continuously. It's not one day thing. You just don't have a CEO telling in an annual speech, we need to be credible, we need to be trustworthy, we are doing all these things. It needs to be an everyday affair which percolates into the minds and the bloodlines of every employee, right? So that's something. For example, if I would want to mention a mentor, a person whom a business leader whom I hugely admire, is Sridhar Vembu from Zoho, right?
Hmm.
He has this enterprise operating out of a tier 2, tier 3 sort of setup. He's not even in a fancy glass paneled AC office sitting in the middle of Bengaluru or Hyderabad, the IT space, with an STPI funding. He does it with graduates from the villages who are highly trustworthy. Why do you think
Yes.
Zoho has been able to scale up? Not because of just the technology, not because of Sridhar Vembu's personal reputation. It's because of the credibility built into every blood line of every employee. You talk to any employee of Zoho, they resonate what the leadership principle is by Sridhar Vembu, right? It needs to be like that. So it's not just having a Google or an Apple or a Microsoft brand on your resume. People leave these companies very easily, just as
Yeah.
easily as they got in, or maybe very hard to get in, but very easy to get out. But it's what percolates from the top, and sort of trust needs to be built in from the top level, and it needs to be actually ingrained continuously through several measures at every level. So you buy in all that trust from your employees, and that collective credibility is what will make you successful.
Thank you for that, Padmini. Now, I think what you are saying is leadership is judgment, not automation, right? So, that's the point that you take. And I would like to summarize as we are on top of the hour. So, what we see is AI is not replacing managers, it is redefining management. That's the first point that I would like to put with the discussion that we have been having. Leadership is moving from controls to curation. That's the second point I would like to take. And the third point is data builds decisions,
Correct.
empathy builds direction. So you can bring up anything with empathy and say this is the way data is showing and this is where you can lead, and that direction is only coming when you build that empathetic angle to the team, right? And project success depends on human judgment of machine insight. That's what is the current age that we are living actually. So human judgment is the key, whereas you use artificial intelligence to take that insights. That's the future PMO is a partner between trust and technology is what I think we are going to look at. We will have tools which suggest, we'll have metrics which can be visible, and as you rightly said, there are a lot of tools that show dashboards of projects where you don't need to run for reports. So those are the things that we've been seeing. And I have few comments as I'll bring it up to the screen here. Uh, One
Sure,
says,
please.
Darwin Philin says, agreed for one of the point that we said. And then we have a LinkedIn user which says 100% agreed to the point what we have discussed. Then we have another pointer which says, very good discussion, intact with latest AI practices. Then we have uh, Upendra saying that agreed organizations have to invest in training their employees on AI, facilitate sandbox environment to experiment and build, achieve what they would like to form their teams in, and organizations. A very valid point, Upendra. It makes a lot of difference when you bring up the teams to scale up to what they have to be in the AI generated or AI world, and training is a must with today's environments, right? And sandbox also is a very important point where you don't play with the production environments. You can test, trust trust to break things and see how it can be looked at, right? These are the pointers that we've got, Padmini. And any final pointers that you want to add, Padmini, before we close?
Um, sure. I wouldn't want to repeat what you have already said. That is there. But on the personal front, if people, project managers especially, need to stay relevant in the market and still contribute, not only for their personal career advancement, but also to businesses of the world where they are working in, right? So there are definitely a couple of things they have to do. Please upskill yourself. You need to know AI. If I at
Mm.
my age can do a double mastermind course over the weekend just to make sure that I am relevant to the industry, I future proof my leadership, and I understand what the technology is, it means there is no choice. You need to upskill instantly, immediately, and keep updating your skills so that you know what's happening in the world and you're able to bring that to be as productive as professional that you can be, right? So use AI as an enabler, right? You need to augment your own capacity and your capability, your efficiency using AI. So keep learning AI, keep like innovating with new technologies, not just AI, anything that emerges in the next 5 years as well, right? We have agentic AI coming up now, right? So you need to innovate, you need to unlearn, relearn new stuff, and then you need to be an AI evangelist. There is no getting away from that. You can't say you don't want AI, you don't need AI, you don't like AI. No, those are all like silly excuses which are no longer relevant. But then how do you brand yourself using this? Definitely you can use AI in order to make sure that you 10x 100x your ability, right, in the marketplace, not only at home but in the office also, right? By using AI, you can leverage AI for building your networks. Networking is your net worth. So, and if I could share a personal anecdote, almost all the stints that I have done in my 30-year careers have not been through resumes. They have been through personal networks. Somebody referred me somewhere, somebody took a chance on me, and that's how I have reached the positions that I have been able to contribute to, right? So your networking can be 100x if you use AI, right? And then definitely your own personal brand, you need to keep building that. Why would anybody hire you if you don't have a personal brand that speaks to their challenges and how you can solve that effectively, right? So this also helps you create multiple income streams. Please remember, folks, that we are going towards an age where everybody will be their own company. They will be their own workforce. We probably will not be working for somebody, we'll be working for ourselves as part of a network where everybody will be contributing in some way or the other. And AI is the glue that will bring us all together to achieve collective outcomes. So, yes, folks, please invest in yourselves. Go get all that AI knowledge today.
Thank you, Padmini. I think what she's saying as much is leadership, it is about knowing all the answers, is about asking the right questions. And
Questions.
even when AI thinks it's already knows them, it's, I think this episode made us rethink what role should be looking at, and the age of intelligent projects, which are we would like to look at tagging you or some of the project managers to these podcasts and say how it looked at, because great managers manage outcomes, not algorithms. That's what I would like to say as a final word. We've streamed this podcast live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Do follow us, watch our episodes, and let us know how we can be doing much better. And thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Padmini. Thank you for being here, and to the audience, thank you and good day.
Thank you, Prem. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.